Hello, I'm Gail Desler.
And I'm Natalie Bernasconi. We're really excited to have this opportunity to be the keynote speakers for the Getting Started strand for the 2012 Global K-12 Online Conference. We'd like to invite you, whether you're a classroom teacher, a parent, or an administrator, or a policymaker, to join us now with for an international conversation about digital citizenship and why it's an essential part of 21st century skills.
So if you're a newcomer to digital citizenship and digital learning, we hope by the end of this conference you're going to leave with a ready-to-go roadmap for bringing digital citizenship into your curriculum tomorrow.
Recently, I was preparing my 7th grade AVID class for a guest speaker, a former student of mine who was in my middle school class in the Title I school where I teach, and she was just getting ready to start her sophomore year at Georgetown University. So to prepare my students for her visit, we decided to Google her and do some background information. And we saw listed there her time in her track and field events. We saw the Rotary exchange announcement about her junior year abroad to Belgium. And then we also saw that Georgetown University had awarded her a $182,000 scholarship award. My students and I were very impressed with how this student had already created a profound digital footprint. And this is just one example of many of how I try to weave the golden threads of digital citizenship throughout my curriculum in a school year.
Fortunately, educators now have access to a growing, abundant collection of free online resources for teaching digital citizenship. And teaching digital citizenship is not optional. Not only for the moral imperative that every student is firmly grounded in what it means to be an ethical and contributing digital citizen, but also for the legal requirements and ed code requirements, specifically SIPA, which is under E-rate funding. So school districts that use E-rate funding to qualify for discounts to use for their technology infrastructure now have to show how they are actively teaching all students about the ethical and safe use of the internet, about internet safety and digital citizenship.
But whose responsibility is it, whether at an elementary, middle, or high school, to teach digital citizenship?
We argue that it's everyone's responsibility. Now, at many sites, the way they're rolling out digital citizenship programs is by assigning it to a non-core curriculum classroom, such as a computer lab class or an advisory class.
And those are great starting points, often allowing a teacher a chunk of dedicated time to fully utilize all the resources available to teach digital citizenship. For example, lessons provided by Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media is a nonprofit dedicated to teaching digital citizenship, and it offers schools free curriculum and education resources to teach both students and engage parents on those critical issues. Fostering partnerships between the advisory period teachers and computer lab teachers with subject area teachers really helps strengthen and develop ways to have more powerful delivery methods for digital citizenship, leading to an empowering cross-curricular approach.
For example, elementary computer lab teacher Erica Swift has introduced a lesson on writing good emails to a classroom of 5th graders.
In today's lesson, it comes from Common Sense Media, and we're going to be looking at writing good emails, but we're going to be looking at it in the broader context of communicating online versus maybe communicating face-to-face, and teaching kids about some of the nuances of communicating online and some of the parameters that they can use to kind of help them communicate effectively in an online digital environment. Now, when we're online, we don't have all of those cues. Right? We can't figure out exactly what people are saying because we don't hear their tone of voice. We don't see their facial expression. So as writers, when you're writing online, and as readers, when you're reading things that are online, you have to think of making sure you're thinking of the whole context or providing a whole context so that somebody does understand what you're saying. Sometimes students don't really reflect on how they're communicating with other people, whether it be verbally or in writing, but especially in writing, that's a challenge with students. And so when you teach writing in general with your kids, you teach them about thinking about their audience, thinking about their format, making sure that they're including enough context to communicate their ideas clearly. And those are the same sorts of skills we need to teach with digital writing, especially because that's more of the writing that they're going to be doing from this point forward compared to how it was in the past.
And when these students leave Erica's computer lab and head back to their homeroom, 5th grade teacher Kevin Ohama is going to be working with them on how do you post a thoughtful response on their blog.
I've always believed that writing is an essential part of all of the curriculum. Math, social studies, language arts, everything that we do. We even sometimes write about what we do in PE. Since we do a lot of blogging in here, there's just a natural extension to other kinds of digital writing that's happening in our class. So we took a look at student posts and had discussions about what was a good post or what would make an ineffective post.
It just says awesome, a teleporting car that rocks, and the only thing is that it should have some punctuations and some more details about how the cars, that teleporting car is cool, awesome, like the color that they like, some details and more.
So when you get online with the laptop, bring up the blog, click on Netiquette, use all of that information to form a good, well-written response. And really what we wanted today was, what are your thoughts about Netiquette and why is it important to do some of the things that Mrs. Swift and I have taught them over the last couple of days. Let's remember, guys, that good digital citizenship means good digital writing.
Another powerful example of a cross-curricular approach is an advisory period lesson on digital footprints extended into a 12th grade AVID class college readiness project.
The lesson College Bound really helped to spotlight the idea of student information on the internet and the impact it can have on their future opportunities. It's not just the things that they do at school that will impact their ability to get in, but actually their entire life. They will go home and look at their digital footprint. I think for me, the important thing is I want them to go home and look at it different than they have in the past. I want them to go home with a critical eye and now say, what does the future look like? Because we live in the here and now. These kids live in the moment. And so to take a second and have teenagers project to the future, I think that's when you have changes in behavior that occur.
Or how about AP statistics teacher Todd Reeswick, who with his students is working on flipping his teaching instruction by putting lessons, filming them and putting them up on his blog, so that beyond the school day, Todd's students and the whole world can have access to the lessons that have been taught during the day. And if you visit the blog, you'll notice that all content posted to that blog is licensed under Creative Commons. And the purpose for this is twofold. Not only is Todd modeling his rights to claim for his intellectual property, but his students, whose names are also attached to the work, are now able to build a very vibrant e-portfolio and digital footprint. And integration of digital citizenship is also one more way to work towards the Common Core state standards, as high school English teacher Michelle Lobby explains.
As an English teacher, I really appreciated this lesson because there's such a huge shift now with the Common Core standards toward reading expository texts. And in English class, we just don't get enough of those. We're reading a lot of literature, which is wonderful, but when students get to college, really they're going to be asked to read a lot more expository text, nonfiction. And so this article, it's very short, it's very accessible, it's very relevant, but it gets students thinking about real life situations and tracing somebody's argument and deciding where they stand based on the evidence. And so that was a huge draw for me, just because it's really closely aligned with the new expectations of Common Core. I think that this particular lesson was so important for our students because they are the first generation to grow up as digital natives. They're the first ones who just grew up with these sorts of things, the internet, as just being a given. And so I think for them, they don't ever really question whether or not posting something is acceptable or appropriate because it just comes so second nature to them. And then also it's really cross-curricular in that in every avenue there's always opportunities to talk about how to honestly use the internet, how to post responsibly, and so forth, especially in an age when we are trying to incorporate more Web 2.0 types of activities, that if there are discussion boards or if there are places for students to leave comments, we really want to encourage them to be respectful of one another's ideas and respectful of one another's comments.
By integrating the teaching of digital citizenship through a cross-curricular approach, students are not only learning about the issues, but they're getting multiple opportunities to put those lessons into practice in a variety of different circumstances. And like with any subject, practice can develop into excellence. And when students connect to a genuine issue requiring their digital citizenship skills, and they can see connections with other people around the world, and they know that they have an engaged, authentic audience, it makes their own engagement and motivation to practice digital citizenship increase exponentially.
Because we see how important digital citizenship is, we have created and now co-curate the Digital ID project. Since its inception in July 2011, the Digital ID project has organically evolved into a collaboration focused on providing students, teachers, parents, and policymakers all over the world with an online toolkit of resources and strategies for developing positive digital citizenship. And we know from all the feedback we've received from teachers how welcomed it was for them who, like us, were totally overwhelmed by all the great resources that were out there but didn't really know where to get started. The project is organized around 4 foci, with Focus 1, Stepping Up, being at the center and heart of this project. We believe that helping students find the courage to step up and say no to cyberbullying is a vital first step on the road to becoming empowered digital citizens.
We also are committed to providing students with the tools and strategies they need to build and maintain positive digital footprints, respect intellectual property boundaries, and protect their online privacy. Citizenship, media literacy, and character development are woven within and across the 4 foci. The Digital ID Toolkit is stocked with a rich plethora of free resources with common sense media at the forefront. Now, to avoid overwhelming educators with the selection of digital citizenship lessons, we included a sample scope and sequence chart. The selection meets the 4 topics required by CIPA, which mirror the Digital ID's 4 foci: cyberbullying, appropriate online behavior in the form of building a positive digital footprint, respecting intellectual property, and safety and privacy. As you can see, the chart starts with 1st and goes all the way through to 12th grade. All the resources are available 24/7 for free, with the invitation to teachers to freely remix.
Whatever we couldn't find readily available, we just jumped in and created ourselves, such as assessment tools, including our pre and post assessment, which is the form of a Google form, which you're welcome to jump in and use and tweak in any way that works for you. We've also created an online digital ID roadmap. And this is a curriculum roadmap and interactive worksheets for teachers to adapt for their own students. One of the tools we've created is an interactive glossary of digital citizenship terms. And our purpose in doing this is we wanted to make sure that reading level or language level would not be a barrier to any of our students in having access to this terminology. So for each word, besides defining it, we've also included an audio clip so that they can have the definition read to them. And for most of the words too, we actually have accompanying video clips too, to make abstract concepts a little more concrete to the students.
Since our initial launch, we see the purpose of the Digital ID project as having expanded. In addition to our original mission, which was to provide students, teachers, parents, and administrators with a reliable toolkit of information and guidelines and resources for digital citizenship, we also now see a natural extension into a second goal, which is to build a collaborative platform for teachers and students the world over to contribute to our ever-growing curriculum collaborations and student-created content. So as you can see on our site, there's many different contributions from students all over with as they are expressing their newly developing digital citizenship skills. And we also really want to honor Andrea Cassia's students who, when they saw our digital citizenship glossary, stepped up and volunteered to translate it into Arabic and Vietnamese also. So we're seeing people from all over the world logging in to see those translations. And in addition, we've also included Spanish. So this is exciting for us to see how it continues to grow.
And one of our most exciting initiatives is the Digital Citizenship PSA Challenge, where students are given up to 90 seconds to teach other students what it means to be a good digital citizen.
So now that we've studied the Italian Renaissance painters, we're going to use contour lines to make our own artwork, okay? Okay. Cool, let's go to work.
Alright, thank you. I messed up right here. But...
Nice use of contour lines, that looks great.
Do you like my sketch I did?
This is your work?
Yeah.
You drew this?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Why does it say Albrecht Dürer?
Within 10 months, a variety of students have contributed digital citizenship blogs, poetry, and PSAs to the Digital ID Wiki.
We cannot emphasize enough the value we see in student-created content being available to a worldwide audience. Over and over, we have learned from our own classroom experiences that our students genuinely care about the projects they see making a difference and having an impact on real-world issues. Fifth graders, for instance, who were in complete awe when they realized through the digital ID cluster map and live traffic feed that their PSA was actually being viewed right then by a site in Western Australia. They smiled broadly when that dot showed up. Students teaching students is a powerful model.
We created the policy page of the Digital ID Wiki to help gather resources for districts and school sites who are ready to take a proactive approach to policy building, including our 5 recommendations for teachers or administrators who are initiating the rollout of a year-long integrated digital citizenship program in ways that will meet and exceed the SIPA requirements.
We have 5 recommendations to help with your digital citizenship rollout. Number 1, start your implementation plan early in the school year, making sure to keep all stakeholders in the loop: students, teachers, administrators, and parents. Number 2, document student progress. Number 3, document the impact of your digital citizenship program. Number 4, create a checklist for your implementation plan. And number 5, proudly and broadly showcase the great work on digital citizenship that both your students and teachers are producing.
We feel passionate about the importance of both students and teachers becoming agents of change.
And the Common Core, with its emphasis on collaboration, writing, and global perspective, is proving to be a powerful engine that can drive the integration of digital citizenship into the subject areas, with further impetus being provided by the recently enacted SIPA changes. However, it will truly take a village to guarantee that the cross-curricular digital citizenship crosswalks are created and maintained, and that every adult on campus serves as a digital crossing guard, fostering a student body of skilled consumers and ethical producers of online content and venues.
The fact that you've chosen to watch this video indicates that you also understand that you too have a role in this village. It's our hope that you found at least one thing that you can take back to your students or staff on Monday morning to use to integrate digital citizenship at your site. And wouldn't it be great if by May of 2013, all of us could be marveling at and learning from your students on their contributions to the Digital ID Wiki and their exemplars of digital citizenship.
Thank you for joining us today. We would welcome and value your feedback, so please jump into the Digital Wiki site and leave a comment on our guest book.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Bye-bye.